Welcome to Mama Cat's Home and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be starting our what's for dinner, but I'm doing it completely different than I've ever done before. I have a different reason why, or I have several reasons why, and I will get into that in a moment. But first I'm going to tell you what the menu plan was supposed to be, and then I'm going to tell you what we actually had for our menu plan and why things are different than what we had actually planned, why I won't be showing you my bins, and I'm also going to be sharing a recipe. So let's get started with this. So Sunday night we had beef tips and rice, and on that night Jeff's tooth broke. It's a wisdom tooth that had come in, and we had no clue that it was going to be messed up to the point that he was going to end up having to have dental surgery, that he was going to have to take antibiotics or any of those things. We just knew on that night that his tooth broke and he was in a lot of pain. So it was not because of my food though. So anyway, Monday morning he called the dentist and got in on Tuesday. So Monday, since he was hurting so bad, I decided, okay, we're going to swap up what we were supposed to have. We were supposed to have burgers and fries, but instead we had what we were going to have on Tuesday, which was raviolis and garlic bread. So we had that on Monday night. Tuesday night we did end up having burgers and fries. He had gone to the dentist, got put on antibiotics. They said they could not take the tooth out. He will have to have surgery, and they had to get the infection under control first. So on top of everything else he's going through with his arm being hurt and going to an orthopedic surgeon, now his face hurts. Not good. So, but he's doing better now. He's been on the antibiotic and he does have some pain pills. It's not doing as well as I would like, but he's doing better. He's able to eat more. So far we had beef tips and rice, burgers and ravioli and garlic bread, then burgers and fries. Then on Wednesday night, we just decided to have leftovers because we had a lot of leftovers. We were supposed to have chicken kebabs, and then some sides, but we never even figured out what sides we were supposed to have because everything changed whenever his mouth started hurting. Then on Thursday, I went to my mama's, so by the time we got home, we were supposed to have barbecue baked potatoes. I had already cooked the barbecue before and froze it because I had cooked a big Boston butt and froze half of it. We forgot to take it out of the freezer that morning. It wasn't something that you would want to take out days before. It's something you'd want to take out that day or the night before. Well, we forgot. That was supposed to be our quick meal. We ended up not doing that, so we had fish sticks. And Jeff and Selena had macaroni and cheese. I had some zesty fries. I regretted that. I really wish I would have eaten the macaroni and cheese because the zesty fries were not that great. Then on Friday night we were supposed to have deer steak, but we ended up having just baked potatoes because we really just didn't want to eat anything else. I ate baked potato. Jeff, what did you eat last night? Do what? Oh, he ate scrambled eggs because they're soft. So that brings us to tonight, to Saturday night. We're supposed to have cheesesteak sandwiches. I've never shared this recipe with you guys, so I decided, since this video is so strange and not my normal what we ate for dinner, even though I will be showing you most of the things we ate because I did video everything except leftover night and baked potato, I will be sharing those things, but I decided I'd just share this recipe with you guys. It's super simple. It's something we came up with years ago. I am doing one thing a little bit different this time, but you'll find out what that is when it comes time for me to do that because I'll tell you. So let me get my camera set up over here. I've already got all my vegetables cut up. I've got my meat thawed and got most of my seasonings ready right there at the stove. So let me get the camera set up because that's all I got to do now, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I've got myself set up for my steak sandwiches, and it's really simple. I don't really know the real recipe for it, So I'm just going to tell you what I do, and then you can go from there. I will go ahead and type it up and put it on my blog. That way you guys can know what I'm doing. But I don't have exact measurements because I've never measured before. So I'm going to have to try to do that this time for you guys so that I can be able to have exact measurements when time comes for me to type it up. So we're winging it with the measurements part. First of all, I'm just going to put olive oil in here. Just enough to, a couple tablespoons maybe. See my little thing that Jeff got me the other day at Target? I like it a lot better than my other one already, and that's the first time I've used it. Alright, so I've got that in there, and then I'm going to put in my onions because I want to get the onions and the peppers done first. And this is probably one large onion. If you measured it that way, it actually is a couple of small ones because that's all I had, or pretty small ones anyway. And I'm going to get that going because it will take the longest to cook, but I don't want it cooked so much that it's not going to have a little bit of a give to it as well. So going to let that go for a little bit, and then I'm going to put, oh sorry, there's water on this. Then I'm going to put some of the peppers in, but I wanted to talk about the peppers first. The peppers, you can use just bell peppers, you can use the multicolored bell peppers, or you can use these little peppers I have here that are those little sweet peppers that you buy, and a lot of people eat them in their salads and stuff. We eat them in all kinds of stuff. My favorite is this kind. The reason why is these are a little bit sweet, but they're just good. And they are more difficult to cut up than a bell pepper, or they take more time. They're not harder, they just take more time. But I'm going to get this going, but you choose whatever kind of pepper you want. If you want your sandwiches to be a little bit spicy, go ahead and get something like a jalapeno and throw in there too. I don't want that, but you can if you choose to. So I'm going to let these go probably about 5 minutes total, and then I'm going to throw in my peppers. So I'm going to go until I get to the point of my peppers. Okay, so these have been going for a few minutes. We got a couple of them with a little brown on them, and that's when we want to go ahead and put our peppers in. And because I'm using these peppers and they are thinner than bell peppers, I'm going to be putting my meat in just a little bit sooner than you would if you were using bell peppers. But that's also to your your preference. Do you want it to have a little bite to your pepper, or do you want it to be soft? Do you want it to be a little bit caramelized with your onions? Do you want them to have a little bit of a crunch? That kind of thing. But just like, I don't know, a couple minutes of cooking, and then I'm going to go ahead and put my meat in. Now, I'm going to keep one piece out so I can show you. What this is just roast that Jeff cut up. You can do it however you want, but it's not very thick. It's just simple, cheap cuts of meat. Alright, get my hand washed. Oh, that's a little bit frozen still. And now, we're going to go ahead and start putting in some seasoning. I'll have to stir it again whenever that time comes anyway, so. Alright, we'll stick that like that. Now, whatever kind of steak sauce you like, completely up to you. We're going to put in anywhere from 1/8 to 1/4 cup is what I would say. Just a little bit, because we don't want too much. And you also are going to be putting in some seasoned salt. we like Lowry's seasoned salt. You got to think about it. There's salt in this steak sauce, so you don't want a ton of salt. So I'm going to put in about 1/2 of a teaspoon. But this salt is not just regular salt. It has other seasonings in it. But this is what, actually probably need a little bit more than that. Maybe 3/4 of a teaspoon. But that's what we started using whenever I come up with this recipe, and came up with this recipe, and that is what we've always used. That's what we like. And then we're going to put in about anywhere from 3/4 to a whole teaspoon of garlic powder, or granulated garlic. And I know we have onion in here, like real onion, whole onion, and I just dropped that on the floor, so now I have to wash it. Because I do have animals that walk around on the floor. So, that's not fun. Anyway, we have onion in here, but we're going to put another teaspoon of just onion powder in there. Maybe 1.5 teaspoons. And then I'll have to wash that top. Alright, now I don't know how I'm going to measure the pepper. I'm just going to put it in there. It'll probably be around 1/2 teaspoon or so. And the last thing I'm putting in, I'm going to use some of this minced garlic. I know some people don't like it, but I don't mind using it. So I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons, maybe 3 teaspoons, so sorry. 3 teaspoons in there. Or you can use freshly, fresh cloves. And I'm going to stir this together, and I'm just going to let it cook. And once it gets to the point that it is done, I will stir it every once in a while. But once it is done, I will come back and show you the next step of our cheesesteak sandwiches. The meat's done, it's just hanging out over there on the eye. Okay, normally we eat like cold buns, but these were still partially frozen. And I just discovered they are partially uncut. So Jeff's going to cut them for me. And then I'm going to show you what I do with them next. Or what I'm going to do this time. But normally, like I said, we would have them cold at the table with the way we do it. Okay, so he's got them all cut up. And then we have them on here. And y'all probably hear my fan coming on the stove constantly. I don't know why it's doing that, because it's preheated. I don't know. I don't have it on convection setting, so it's just doing that on its own. Now, one of these is going to be different from all the rest because it's Selena's, because she does not eat this sandwich. So, one of them is going to be like a pepperoni pizza type thing. So, it won't be like the rest, like I said. But I'm going to put some on each one. I may have too much on that first one. Actually, let me get tongs. Maybe I can control it a little bit more that way. But we normally eat them with cold bread. We just put the meat on and the cheese on, and we just eat them that way. But tonight we're going to do it like this, just because I don't have any buns. We're going to try this. We may like it better. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so on all of these, I'm just going to put some regular sliced cheese. On the Philly cheesesteaks, they put Cheese Whiz, but we're doing this. Now, on Noah's, I'm going to do mozzarella because that's what he wants. But I'll do that whenever I do Selena's. But I'm just going to put cheese on all of the ones that are going to be the sliced cheese like this. Okay, so Jeff told me he wanted a little bit of mozzarella on one of his. Noah wanted two. I'm eating one. Mine has pepper jack on it as well. And then this is Jeff's. And there's Selena's. Now you see how I make her little pepperoni sandwiches. So I'm going to stick them in the oven for 5 or so minutes until everything is melted and heated through. And the oven is on 350. Okay, so this is how they look after they are done, and there's Selena's. It looks just about the same except red instead of brown. But what I do is, I'm just going to take this one, is we just put them together and then they can go on a plate. That might end up being a thumbnail. But Jeff sometimes put mustard on his. Noah does too, I think. And, you know, you can do whatever you want, like condiment-wise. But what we're going to eat it with tonight is some chips and dip. And that will be the end of this video. You can check out the link down below for this recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know that this video is different than my normal What's for Dinners, but that's just how this week went. Thank you again for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you like my channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so to be notified when I upload. Also, leave me a comment down below. Have you had weeks where everything worked out differently than you planned? Because that happens to us a lot lately. And remember, don't take any wooden nickels, and be sweet.